the same thing.
I have a problem if we don't.
Yeah.
Like, just because Trump thought of it, I'm not against it. Something that would stop the increasing number of rogue missiles that are in this world from maybe coming over here and incinerating me. Yeah, mark me down as a pro for that. I'm pro having, now, can we do it? I don't know. And the ballroom, I don't give a I really don't give a I was reading, it shows you like how the media is. Everything is always on one side or the other. When he's first mentioned it, it was like all about, oh my God, he's desecrating the White House. Then I finally read, oh, well, you know, they've done to the White House before. It's just a bill.
Bill Maher and Bill O'Reilly just dropped a startling truth bomb about why deep blue states are beginning to shift red, and the revelation is nothing short of shocking. I never imagined I'd see this moment, yet here we are, and it seems that day has finally come. In their discussion, the two seasoned political commentators explain how Donald Trump is managing to win over even the most committed liberals who once insisted they would never budge. Here's how they break it down.
Trump wants to build a new missile defense system called the Golden Dome. Ah, yes, I read about this. That could cost hundreds of billions of dollars. Is that a good use of money?
Well, I mean, look, he's building, he wants to build an arch on the mall. You know, he's building a place he can dance at the White House and do the YMCA. He's going to do that there. And he wants to build a dome. I mean,
you got to protect the dance hall.
True. By the way, I'm very excited. I'm very excited with, you know, when the Democrats take the White House in 28, when we have the ballroom, you know, the Pride Month in February is going to be great in that.
Democrats are reacting strongly to Trump's decision to build a ballroom inside the White House, viewing it not as a simple renovation but as a full-on desecration. Many have framed the move as yet another example of Trump turning a historic institution into his personal playground. Democrat Jared Moskowitz even mocked the idea, quipping that Trump just wants a place to dance the YMCA dance, a line that sparked plenty of laughter online. But Bill Maher wasn't amused. He fired back with a sharp, cutting response that flipped the joke on its head, arguing that the outrage reveals more about the Democrats' fixation on Trump than it does about the ballroom itself. His reaction reflects a growing frustration among moderates who are tired of what they see as the left's reflexive, performative outrage over anything Trump does. Maher's comeback was classic, witty, blunt, and completely unfiltered.
Problem if we don't.
Yeah.
Like, just because Trump thought of it, I'm not against it. Something that would stop the increasing number of rogue missiles that are in this world from maybe coming over here and incinerating me. Yeah, mark me down as a pro for that. I'm pro having, now, can we do it? I don't know. You know, I read, you know, he says it'll take 3 years and 180 billion, and they say, well, that's going to take 10. Whatever it is. Of course, everything is over scheduled and it never comes in on time or on budget.
Maher didn't hold back as he criticized the DNC for its knee-jerk rejection of anything associated with Trump. He argued that Democrats have reached a point where, if Trump said rain is wet, they'd insist it's dry simply because he said it. Maher emphasized how the left refuses to acknowledge any merit in Trump's proposals, even when those ideas could genuinely benefit the country. He pointed to Trump's proposed Golden Dome, a missile defense system designed to protect the U.S. from foreign threats, noting that Democrats dismissed it outright solely because it came from Trump. And he wasn't finished. In the next segment, Maher turned to the so-called ballroom controversy, and things escalated quickly. His response didn't just roast the critics, it highlighted how political obsession has blinded many to basic common sense.
That's, to me, a worthy thing. And the ballroom, I really don't get. I was reading, it shows you like how the media is. Everything is always on one side or the other. When he's first mentioned it, it was like all about, oh my God, he's desecrating the White House. Then I finally read, oh, well, you know, they've done to the White House before. It's just a building, I think. Also, like, I realized after reading other people, we don't have a place when they have state dinners. They're doing it in a tent. This is America. So do I give it? He's doing this to the White House? I really.
And here's the interesting part, those massive event tents used at the White House aren't cheap. During Obama's presidency, renting a temporary tent for a major event reportedly cost well over $1 million for just a single night. So building something permanent, like a ballroom that can be used for years without constant setup, teardown, and rental fees, actually makes far more financial sense. It's practical, elegant, and ultimately saves taxpayers money. But the DNC still has an issue with it. Instead of acknowledging the logic, they immediately criticize the idea simply because it comes from Trump. And that's exactly what Maher was calling out, the Democrats' refusal to recognize basic common sense whenever Trump is involved, even when the plan is clearly more cost-effective and beneficial for future administrations.
He raised the money privately,
Yeah, and it's private money.
you know, and if Newsom wants to knock it down when he's president, then he can knock it down, right?
Save your ire for the things that matter.
That's right.
You
But they don't
these
know
people-
what matters.
Well,
Well, you know as well as I do
I don't give a shit.
that the media is not in the business any longer of reporting what matters. It's not. They make their money either hating or loving Donald Trump.
Yeah.
That's where the cash register is. What matters doesn't matter to them.
O'Reilly hits the nail on the head. He argues that today's media isn't driven by facts anymore, it's driven by clicks, ratings, and outrage. Most outlets, he says, follow a simple formula, either rage-bait their audience or cozy up to Trump for attention. There's no middle ground, no nuance, and little genuine effort to uncover the truth. Instead of taking the time to investigate, verify, or provide balanced reporting, they rush to publish whatever will spark engagement and boost ad revenue. Feelings have overtaken facts, and truth has taken a backseat to traffic. O'Reilly believes this toxic cycle is exactly why so many Americans no longer trust the mainstream press. Journalism has shifted from informing the public to manipulating emotions, creating a media landscape that thrives on division rather than delivering real information.
Do you think that Mamdani's election will lead more financial organizations to leave New York City for Wall Street South in Florida? Tell me, I've read that term just recently, Wall Street South, Florida. This is your
Palm Beach.
state. What is that?
A lot of Wall Street guys have moved to Palm Beach. It's been happening really since COVID. It's accelerated with increases in taxes. It's not just out of New York. It's New Jersey, Connecticut, it's Chicago, it's California.
So they're fleeing high tax blue
correct,
states
correct.
for
Look,
Florida. And
This is the luckiest guy in the world that Mamdani got elected because his district is going to explode. My house, I live 8 miles outside of Queens, has gone up 20% in value since Mamdani announced. Okay? Because people aren't going to pay the punishing taxes. New York is the highest tax state in the union.
But you said your house value's gone up.
Yeah,
So
because they're
people-
moving to Nassau County.
Oh, they're moving out of the city.
Out of
I
the
see,
city, and
I
they can
see.
still take the train back in the city and not pay the millionaire's tax or whatever crazy thing this guy wants.
Now that Mamdani is officially in office, it's time to move past the speculation, commentary, and endless predictions and finally see what he can actually deliver. The theories, debates, and campaign narratives no longer matter. From here on out, his actions will speak far louder than any promise he made on the trail, and voters will judge him on results rather than rhetoric. If he pushes too aggressively into socialist-style policies, he risks alienating moderates, independents, and the growing number of Democrats who are weary of ideological extremes. A misstep like that could easily shift political momentum toward Trump and the GOP as election season approaches, but if Mamdani plays his cards wisely, governing effectively, prioritizing practical solutions, staying true to core democratic principles, and genuinely earning the trust of everyday Americans, the DNC could enter the 2028 race in a far stronger and more unified position. His performance in the coming months won't just shape his own political future, it could redefine the direction, tone, and identity of the Democratic Party itself. Whether he becomes a stabilizing force or ends up as yet another polarizing figure depends entirely on the choices he makes. One thing is certain. The next chapter of his leadership will reveal whether Mamdani is a true unifier or simply another divisive player in an already fractured political landscape.
What people don't understand is he can't raise the taxes unless the state okays it, and the state is not going to okay it. So this is just smoke and mirrors. And the younger people who voted for him, they don't understand that. They don't know what seizing the means of production is, but Ken Griffin does. He's the big Wall Street titan. He knows what it is, and that's why he's down in Palm Beach.
We'll see if they move. I mean, you saw Bill.
They're going to move.
Well, look,
They're already moving.
Hold on, Bill Ackman said.
No, they're not.
Hold on.
People say they're going to move all the time after elections. They don't do it.
Bill Ackman said he was going to move.
You know how many people moved out of New York City in the last 3 years? 600,000.
O'Reilly firmly believes that the recent wave of people leaving New York is directly tied to Meany's election as mayor. And honestly, he might have a point, especially if Meany follows through on the sweeping hardline proposals he pushed during his campaign, such as sharply raising taxes on millionaires, implementing aggressive wealth redistribution measures, and even attempting to seize or restructure production lines in the name of economic equality. Moves like these could trigger a mass exodus similar to what California experienced under Gavin Newsom's leadership. The reality is straightforward. Wealthy residents and major businesses don't stay in places where they feel targeted or penalized for their success. They don't stick around to see how bad things might get. They pack their bags, move their headquarters, and shift their money to states with friendlier tax policies, fewer burdensome regulations, and governments that actually want them to stay. O'Reilly argues that if this kind of economic flight accelerates, it could destabilize New York's financial ecosystem, shrinking the tax base, reducing job opportunities, and widening the gap between political elites who promote utopian policies and the working-class residents who feel the consequences. If Mamdani isn't extremely careful, his so-called progressive experiment could end up pushing New York toward a full-blown financial crisis, one the city may not be able to recover from easily.
People move in America, and you're right.
No, but they're not moving because they want a better view. They like to keep more of their money that they earn.
Yeah, that's true.
Look, Florida is a really good case study. So when DeSantis became governor, there were 250,000 more registered Democrats in Florida when he became governor 8 years ago. Now there's 1.4 million more registered Republicans in Florida. That's all migration from COVID and re-registration from COVID, 100%. Right. So it absolutely is happening. Whether they will abandon New York in droves, I mean, Bill Ackman's a really good example. He said he was going to leave, right? He's been going after Mamdani. He spent a lot of money on him. And then the day Mamdani won, he said, I'm willing to talk and sit down and work with you. That doesn't sound like he's packing his bags.
Well, it's not everybody, but look, if you're a person in New York City earning $150,000, okay, that's a lot of money for most people in the United States. That's nothing in New York City. 150K doesn't get you very much. Right. It gets you In-N-Out burgers.
And that's the hard truth. The real issue is that things are only likely to get worse under Mamdani's leadership, especially with the new wave of taxes he's preparing to roll out. And let's be honest, no one is leaving because of COVID anymore. It's been nearly 5 years since the pandemic ended. People aren't uprooting their families or shutting down their businesses over something that far in the past. What's pushing them out now is pure economic pressure. High taxes, suffocating regulations, and layers of bureaucracy have already hollowed out California, driving thousands of residents and major corporations to states like Texas and Florida. O'Reilly believes New York is heading down that same dangerous path, and he may be right. When you make it harder for businesses to grow and for people to keep the money they earn, they'll simply take their jobs, investments, and tax dollars somewhere else. If Manny doesn't rethink his entire approach, New York could end up facing the same fate as California, bleeding people, businesses, and opportunity until there's nothing left but regret.
Working people at a certain level are going to say, I'm going to the congressman's state, because there's no state tax there. There's no local tax there. I get to keep more of my money. This isn't complicated.
Well, I've looked at moving because I'd like to keep more of my money too. And
where should Maher move?
I'm not moving anywhere. I'm not moving anywhere.
No?
No.
Yeah, you're gonna stay?
And the taxes here are ridiculous, but it's still Southern California.
If you asked Bill Maher where he might move if he ever decided to leave California, which state do you think he should choose? Share your thoughts in the comments. This is definitely a debate worth having. Maher has openly criticized California's skyrocketing tax burden, frequently pointing out that residents face crushing marginal tax rates that leave them wondering what they're actually getting in return. On top of that, he's repeatedly slammed the state's massive and convoluted bureaucracy, from agonizing permit delays to layers of confusing regulations affecting construction, businesses, and even simple personal projects. Maher argues that this red tape isn't just frustrating, it actively stifles progress. Even simple tasks can feel like wading through quicksand. So, if Maher ever decides he's had enough and makes a move, it wouldn't be for prettier scenery or warmer weather. It would be about lowering his tax burden, escaping stifling bureaucracy, and finding a state where he can live, work, and create without constantly battling government obstacles. The real question is, which state checks all those boxes?
Do you think Vance or Rubio has a better chance at winning in 2028? Well, they got to wrestle the nomination away from Trump, which is probably not going to happen. Well, I mean, who knows?
You know, it's a totally different country.
What?
In 2028 than it is now. Totally different country next year. These nitwits on television go, oh, this is a harbinger of the midterms. You know how many things are going to change in the next 12 months?
Democrats are going to kill in the midterms for the same
What?
reason they killed this week. Democrats are going to wipe.
Depends. It
no,
depends.
no,
It
no.
depends if the prices come down.
Well, it's not just the prices.
Oh,
it's just,
that's the big
no,
one.
it's the perception that the people who get into power are always drunk with power. This administration's also just drunk.
I really don't understand why Maher seems so fixated on the idea that Trump won't relinquish power in the next election. He keeps sounding the alarm as if the outcome is already decided, and it's starting to feel a bit overblown. O'Reilly, by contrast, offers a calmer perspective. He reminds Maher that a lot can change in just a year or two. Political landscapes are never static, and predictions this early are often unreliable. After all, we're only a year into Trump's administration, and judging the long-term trajectory, or speculating about future elections, at this stage is premature. History shows that momentum can shift quickly, public opinion can swing, and unexpected events can completely alter the conversation. O'Reilly's point is simple but crucial: patience and perspective matter. It's too early to call the shots, and obsessing over hypotheticals doesn't help anyone. In short, Maher's obsession with Trump refusing to leave office seems premature. O'Reilly wisely notes that much can change over a year or two, and we're still in the early days of Trump's term. Jumping to conclusions now ignores the fluid nature of politics. Patience, perspective, and time will ultimately reveal how things unfold. On that note, we'll wrap up today's video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.